You were taught to trust time. That history runs in a straight line. That January begins the year. That Sunday is sacred. That 2025 is the true number of years since it all began. But here's the secret. The timeline is broken, and it was broken on purpose. Every empire in history has rewritten the calendar, but not for accuracy, for control. Because if you can manipulate time, you can manipulate memory. And if you control memory, you control identity, prophecy, and truth. Let's begin at the root. The oldest known synchronized calendar system came from ancient Iran. The pre-Zoroastrian and early Avestan people followed a solar calendar tied to cosmic rhythms, agricultural cycles, and sacred numerology. 360 days plus 5 Gatha days, 12 months, each with 30 days. A 13th intercalary month added over long cycles to realign with solstices. Days named after divine principles, not numbers. Truth, harmony, light, justice. This wasn't a calendar. It was a spiritual architecture, a way of aligning human activity with cosmic truth. And the priesthood guarded it fiercely. But here's the twist. They weren't the first to use it. Fragments of similar soul calendars are found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, Enochian solar calendar, ancient Egyptian temples, Mayan calendar systems, even the Book of Jubilees, where the year begins in spring, not winter. All of them hint at an older global memory, a pre-cataclysmic world where time was truth, not tyranny. But that memory was shattered. Because after the flood, after the global reset that every tradition remembers, new empires rose, and with them new timelines. And each one did the same thing. They erased the original calendar and replaced it with a political one. Let's count the crimes. Crime number 1. Babylon hijacked time. The Babylonians introduced the lunar calendar, synced not to truth, but to control of the priestly moon watchers. They split the month based on phases, not energy. They declared holy days based on elite astrology. They named days after gods, and inserted themselves into prophecy. Sound familiar? This is where 7-day weeks began. Days of the week named after celestial deities, Sun Day, Moon Day, Saturn Day. They created time as a trap, not a guide. Crime number 2. Rome reprogrammed the year. The Roman calendar was originally 10 months. Then Julius Caesar rewrote it. He inserted July for himself, and later Augustus added August. They renamed months after emperors. They adjusted days to keep themselves immortal in the memory of mankind. Then Constantine, the so-called Christianizer, took it further. He made Sunday the day of rest, not because of scripture, but to align Christianity with solar cult worship. He established the Julian calendar, forced it on the known world, and buried older systems under Latin time. Crime number 3. The Gregorian time lock. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII introduced the Gregorian calendar, a correction to Julian drift, but with a deeper motive, to align Easter with church authority, to disconnect Passover from the lunar timing of Jewish communities, to anchor time to the Vatican once and for all. And it worked. Today, almost the entire world uses this calendar. A calendar where the year begins in midwinter, not spring, against nature. The week ends in Saturn Day, the day of judgment. Holy days are renamed, relocated, or erased. And every second you track on your phone runs on this script. So ask yourself, if time is natural, why did they need to rewrite it so many times? Because you live in artificial time. Engineered time. Time built to disconnect you from your cosmic alignment. And worst of all, it's a calendar that erased prophecy. The original calendars, Enochian, Avestan, even early Hebrew, were designed to track sacred events. They could forecast divine windows. They taught when souls awaken, when angels descend, when veils are thinnest. The priesthood destroyed that and gave you weekends. Let's go deeper. You now know the calendar you live by is false, engineered by emperors and priests. But here's the part that shatters the veil. They didn't just change the dates. They changed the cosmic memory. Because the original calendar wasn't about birthdays and taxes. It was about soul timing, the cycles of awakening, remembrance, and divine return. And every prophet knew this. The prophetic calendar. Let's start with Enoch, the grandfather of Noah. In the book of Enoch, we find the 364-day solar calendar. It's perfect. 4 quarters, 13 weeks per quarter. The year begins on the day of the spring equinox, when light overcomes darkness. And here's what Enoch says. Angels were assigned to guard the months. Each season had a gate. Time wasn't just physical, it was dimensional. He even warns, the sinners will err in counting them. They will adjust the months and displace the holy days. Enoch 82:5-6. What is he describing? Calendar manipulation. Now jump to the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Qumran community, likely descendants of the Essenes, refused the Roman and Pharisaic calendars. They used the solar calendar of Enoch and said the lunar one was from fallen watchers, a false timeline designed to confuse sacred observance. Their writings suggest this: the soul is programmed with memory gates, and when you follow the wrong time, those gates don't open. Soul memory and time codes. Modern science is just starting to catch up. Researchers in chronobiology and circadian neurobiology now admit your body doesn't run on random time. It runs on light cycles. Sunlight triggers hormonal sequences. Seasons shift epigenetic expression. But ancient calendars already knew this. They didn't need wristwatches. They tracked equinoxes, windows of spiritual balance, solstices, moments of cosmic reversal, full moons, tides of emotional magnification, 3-day pulses, noted by the Maya as soul learning cycles. These aren't myths. These are coded activation points, and the elite knew it. That's why they moved New Year's Day from spring, natural rebirth, to January 1st, dead of winter, near Saturnalia. Hid the original Sabbath, which aligned with lunar phases, detached prophetic feasts from the agricultural heavens, replaced cosmic fasts with state holidays, because when the soul forgets when to awaken, it begins to sleep forever. Calendar and control systems, this is where it gets dark. Every major system of control is built on false time. School systems run on artificial quarters. Work weeks are divorced from sun-moon cycles. Economic quarters are set by fiscal calendars, not harvests. Even mental health disorders are aggravated by dissonance from real seasonal rhythm, and spiritually, we are out of sync. Your prayers, your intentions, your fasts, your goals are being made on days with no real resonance. You're swimming upstream against cosmic current. By design. Because if they can keep you off tune, they can keep you off track. Lost prophetic timing. Ask yourself, why is the Day of Judgment in Islamic texts tied to a trumpet on an unknown day? Why did Jesus warn his followers to watch the signs, not the dates? Why did ancient Persians celebrate Nowruz, the real New Year, not in January, but at the spring equinox? Because the real calendar was a countdown, a cosmic schedule, and that's why it had to be destroyed. Because if humanity stayed on that rhythm, we'd remember the last flood. We'd count forward to the next reset. We'd prepare, not panic. We'd realign with the return of the light, what some traditions call the Mahdi, the Saoshyant, the Son of Man. But instead, we're trapped in Gregorian sleep, celebrating holidays, ignoring cosmic gates, running on time that was designed to delete our awareness. You now know the truth. They didn't just lie to you about history. They broke the calendar. They hijacked time. And they severed your soul from the rhythm of the divine. But here's the secret they could never erase. You were born with the original clock inside you. And now, as the illusion of artificial time collapses, you're being called to remember the rhythm. Let's finish this. The real New Year. The ancients didn't begin the year in January. They began it when the sun crossed the equator and light overcame darkness, the spring equinox. That's when day and night are perfectly balanced, the energy of nature resets, the soul receives a cosmic broadcast, a new cycle of growth. The Avestan, Enochian, Sumerian, and even early Hebrew calendars all marked this window. The Persians called it Nowruz, new light. The Essenes aligned their priesthood with this pulse. The Maya called it 0 point. It was universal. But when Rome and the Vatican shifted New Year to January, named after Janus, the two-faced god of transitions, they pulled humanity into a false gate, a celebration of nothing, a calendar locked in Saturnian winter, and with it the soul fell out of tune. awakening the soul clock. But nature doesn't lie. Your body still responds to solstices and equinoxes, lunar pull on blood and emotion, solar flares and Schumann resonance, seasonal cycles of death and rebirth. This isn't spirituality. This is biology plus prophecy. You weren't meant to live by spreadsheets. You were meant to rise with the sun of truth. So how do you restore the original calendar? Start with what can't be faked. Step 1, realign with the sky. Forget the printed calendar. Look up. The vernal equinox, around March 20th to 21, is the true new year. The summer solstice, June 20th to 22, marks the peak of outward energy. The autumn equinox, September 22-24, begins inward reflection. The winter solstice, December 21 to 23, marks stillness and divine seed planting. Track your intentions, prayers, and life planning around these pillars. They are God's architecture, not man's. Step 2. Observe the sacred intervals. In the book of Enoch, 364 days are divided into 4 equal quarters. Each quarter is 91 days. Each season begins with an appointed gate. And there are 13 weeks per quarter, not 12 weeks of random chaos. Even modern solar spiritualists, from Native American trackers to Persian mystics, agree these intervals are soul-encoded. When you live by them, your awareness sharpens. You begin to feel things before they happen. Synchronicities increase. Dreams return. Old wounds rise to be healed. Because your soul is no longer drifting. It's realigned. Step 3. Abandon false time in key moments. You can't destroy the system, but you can refuse to obey it where it matters most. Start here. Don't set life goals in January. Set them at equinox. Don't measure success by quarters. Measure by seasons. Don't celebrate hollow holidays. Celebrate the light days, when the sun and stars invite transformation. And if you feel called, reclaim the Enochian calendar. It's not a conspiracy. It's a survival tool, left by prophets who knew this day would come. Because what happens next isn't just about news and politics. It's about timelines converging. The return of timekeepers. Many ancient traditions speak of a future time when the real calendar will return. In Zoroastrian prophecy, a new Saoshyant will restore cosmic order. In Islamic tradition, the Mahdi will rule by divine time, not artificial law. In Christian texts, the Son of Man returns in a time no man knows, because the time was hidden. In Enoch, the Watchers return to reveal the true heavenly signs. This isn't about the end of the world. It's about the end of the false clock. And those who are in sync will recognize the light. Those who are not will mistake it for darkness. That's why the war on time is so serious. Because awakening your soul calendar is the only way to escape the matrix. So what now? You don't need permission. You don't need an app. You just need to remember you are not Gregorian. You are not random. You are not late. You are right on time. And the ancient calendar is rising inside you. It was never just a way to measure time. It was the map to your destiny.